Oh, this has gone on. This is fucking ridiculous now, ladies and gentlemen. This grooming gang scandal. I heard Prime Minister's questions again today. What a fucking joke. I mean, Kemi got a couple of broadsides into Starmer and they're going ahead with an inquiry. Too little, too late. Those poor girls who have suffered, I cannot even begin to imagine what they suffered over those years by those pieces of shit that came into this country and abused our young ladies. And they know who they are, they know where they come from, but of course you can't say it because that would be considered racist. Well, we're getting fucking tired of it. The average British person's like me, we're Christian background, we love this country, we want it to be better than it is now, and it's going slowly down the tubes. And the pot is boiling, it's getting near the point where it's almost 100 degrees and it's going to bubble over. Yesterday in Ireland, the same thing occurred when a migrant raped a 10-year-old girl, apparently, in this migrant hostel that houses over 2,000 illegals. Apparently it was a beautiful hotel. And the Irish government, shame on you, and well done to the Irish people. This is what we've got to do here. We've got to stop this bullshit now. This has gone on far too long. We've got to take our country back. We've got to be proud to wave the flag, hang your flags out. We're not fucking right-wing fascists who are always called that, of course, no matter what we fucking complain about. I mean, if you complain about anything on Facebook or Instagram or any of the streaming medias now, never know whether knock on the fucking door. But I'm saying it now, we have to do something in this country. We can't just go on like this, it'll go away, somebody else will look after it. That's the cop-out. That doesn't work and never has worked and never will work. And we are in a crucial, critical stage in our development. I mean, Britain, this wonderful country, the United Kingdom. I can't believe. You look at the history of the United Kingdom. It is absolutely mind-blowing. It's a wonderful country. Yes, we did some terrible things, 200 or 300 years ago, but everybody else is doing it as well. So don't just blame the Brits. And never mind these idiot bloody people like, what's his name, Lenny Henry. I never thought he was funny, although perhaps he's having a resurgence with that idiotic claim that he wants reparations. The only reparations I'd give him is I'm not going to say. But anyway, the other thing that's really important, and I've completely forgotten my train of thought now. I thought I can do a segue straight onto this and it'll sound really professional. I can't remember what I was going to say. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Australia. To my Australian friends, I have a few followers over there. Good morning. As you all know, I was born and bred in Australia. Very proud of that country, the lucky country. Do you know, you're even luckier than any other country in the world. You've got the world's largest supply of uranium, absolutely essential for the making of nuclear weapons. But not that. Why haven't you got nuclear power stations? I talked about it with my father 50 years ago, and he said, I don't know, son, why we don't make it? We've got the technology, we could do it. No, haven't done that. Have you built the big reservoirs and irrigated the centre of Australia? No, you haven't done that either. Why not? No. Rare earth minerals. We've now discovered one of the largest deposits of that. And Donald Trump wants to get his greasy little hands on that, which is fine. Make him pay through the nose. As he said, you've got to pay through the nose for your submarines. We should have had nuclear submarines years ago, but we didn't have. We've got the world's largest supply of copper, lead, zinc, the world's biggest supply of coal. We could provide the world with coal for the next 500 years. And yet in Australia, and I say we, I'm talking about me as an Australian now, you're paying through the nose for everything because you've got a problem with immigration. You've got a problem with the left-wing government. Why you voted for Albanese, I will never know. And he's over in America at the moment, and that was a pretty embarrassing news conference, I thought, particularly as you've got Kevin Rudd as the ambassador, who's he loves China. Oh, my God, he speaks fluent Chinese, which is more than I can say I do. I wish I did, but I don't. But and Trump said, well, I don't like you anyway, and I never probably will. You got to admire the Donald sometimes. He doesn't make me smile. I'm worried about Ukraine. The meeting with Putin now in Budapest, I didn't think it'd go ahead, and it's not going to go ahead. That was just a sop. That was just a bullshit exercise from Putin, pulling the old strings again. And he's the huge drone attack and missile attack into Kyiv last night. More than 7 more people killed, God knows how many injured, and that war continues. And nobody seems to want to help them. And I know there's a lot of people on here who go on at me about it. You know, they started the war. What about the Dom? Look, I know the bloody history of the place better than most of you do. I've done a lot of research on Ukraine, but they were invaded, right? Is that not a fact? By Russia, who was going to take them over in the, 3 weeks. Well, 3.5 years later, they haven't. But they have said this morning, they can continue ad infinitum with this war. They don't give a shit. They don't care about their economy or their people. They don't care that it's costing them an absolute arm and a leg. They're just Russians. They want to win that war. And unless Ukraine gets long-range weaponry that they need, which they should have given them, the cruise missiles would have made a difference. It wouldn't have changed much, but it would have given them a big stick. They're doing very well on their own, and Slava Ukraini. And no use going on at me about my bloody pro, and anti this and all that stuff. You can make all the comments you like. I don't mind. I'm a big boy. I've got wide shoulders, and boy, some of the ones I've had over the years have been pretty horrific and pretty in your face. Most of them go into my filter box now, but it's when you're on a media like this, of course you're going to upset some people. But I don't care. I have to say what I feel. The grooming gang scandal, just get on with it. Tell us who it is. We know who it is. And then they should be incarcerated and deported because we know where they come from. Oh, no, you can't say that because that might be considered, that'd be offensive. Oh, my God. What a fucking strange old world we live in today. My father goes back when he was born. He was born in Stoke Newington, actually, in East London. In the Stoke Newington Hospital in 1905. And it was full of Cockneys in those days. It was a great part of the world. Of course, I was born in Australia, but he used to tell me about the back slang, the way they used to talk, and because he was a butcher, and how wonderful it was, and the camaraderie amongst the people there. He wouldn't recognise it now. And guess who's the MP in his constituency? It's the maths genius. Yes, a lady called Diane Abbott. She's the representative for Stoke Newington. I think I have to say to him, I think a smile sometimes. Less is often more. Do you know what I mean, ladies and gentlemen? Less is quite often more. Very briefly, at the end of this program today, which is now Wednesday afternoon, and it's quite late because I've just made my favourite sausage curry. It took me longer than I anticipated, but it's in there just simmering away, and it's going to be lovely tonight. I watched a film last night. I found it on Prime called Americana with Sydney Sweeney. It was made in 2022. She's a little waitress in a little place, and I thought it was a gem. I couldn't believe what a wonderful, funny, delightful movie. And if you haven't seen it, watch it. You'll enjoy it. Every single performance is exceptional, and it's a Coen Brothers movie, and I just can't praise it enough. I give it 5 stars out of 5. 10 out of bloody 10, because most of the other movies I've watched recently have been absolutely, and the series, fucking diabolical. They're cheap and they're nasty, even though you've got famous names in them. Most of them are bloody awful. They're doing it for the money. Anyway, I do have a treat today because I've got the next episode of Slow Horses, which I'm looking forward to. Thank you all very much. Have a good day and take care of yourself. Look after yourself for Pete's sake.